Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. My name is Adam, and I am with Colorado SIPA, your public sector partner, helping to put more information and services online. Before we get started, please note that during this webinar, you are muted. So if you have any questions or you'd like to communicate with our presenter or myself at any point during the webinar, please use the chat box in the bottom bar of this window. Today's webinar is going to cover a very exciting topic that we believe all of you will find very valuable. We're going to be using Drupal and Google together to enhance government website experiences for all Coloradans. This session should be especially helpful for those of you who are the admin for your website. So we're very excited to get started. With us today is Corey Nicholson. He is with the Department of Regulatory Agencies Communications and Projects Coordinator for the Division of Real Estate, and what we at SIPA and our partners call a Colorado.Gov power user. Corey was originally scheduled to speak at the now postponed SIPA user conference, which was meant to take place today. But luckily for all of us, Corey was kind enough to agree to share his knowledge today anyway. So without further ado, Corey Nicholson.
Hi, Adam. Thanks. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate the opportunity, and it would have been much more exciting together on a big screen in a room so we could have a little more interaction, but this will do as well. I'm going to take over the screen real quick. And basically throughout the time, feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and let's get that screen up for you. And you can stop us along the way. Adam, feel free to interrupt me as we move forward. So I'm here today, as Adam said, is to talk about improving, how I discuss it as improving public access to quality and valuable information with Colorado.Gov and Google. So one of the most wonderful things that has happened at the state is that we now have this great Google Workspace environment that provides us many opportunities to enhance a lot of the different processes and products that we produce for the public. And this is not in any way different with our websites, particularly also the connection between our website that Colorado.Gov provides us and the add-ons of analytics. We really have been able to really start seeing how we can provide that value. So I'm just going to go through here to the next slide. I do have a few disclaimers here I want to go over real quick. First, this is a local level view. I am not a professional web production person. I don't know what you would call them. I am an admin web person, and so at that local level I do have that great feeling of being isolated at times and not really knowing what to do, but just to add or delete something that someone needs on the website. However, but we also want you to know at that local level view is that you can start seeing what your actual needs are. And if you can figure that out, you can figure out how to solutionize them. This is not, like I said, a non-web manager view. This is simply someone who is looking at this through the director's office. I work with them, and so this gives me an opportunity to see how this website is a way of helping us find solutions to our needs or our mission. Your needs will vary, and so what we're talking about today might not hit you 100% in the bullseye, but hopefully it can percolate some thought and have you reach out to others. Leadership alignment is also a disclaimer. I have a wonderful leader and my deputy director who works with me on the website and is committed to it. And by doing that, we've seen leaps and bounds of value coming out of our website due to that ability. So I recommend to really try to make sure you're doing this with someone in leadership so they can see what's the value and what you can really do. And then a commitment is needed. And what that simply means is once you start working on your website, more than just saying, here it is, you're going to start seeing that there's things you have to do if you want to make it valuable to your consumers or get to those consumers faster and more efficiently. And so just keep that in mind. This will add additional work. And so the goals of the session today are pretty simple. We're going to have a quick discussion, discuss the value of government websites. Then we're going to talk about Drupal and Google, as we stated earlier, and how it works together at the Division of Real Estate over at DORA, and then identify success metrics and show it as a show and tell. And so I'll show you how we're seeing success with what we're doing with our websites. So first, what I wanted to say is we have this great quote here. This obviously is coming from the last few years, what has occurred with the pandemic. 90% of Americans say the internet has been essential or important to them. Many made video calls and 40% use technology in new ways. This is huge. We have, as a country or as a society, said we're going to go online. And for the most part, most people are quite okay with that. And so with that said, oh, we have a first poll question we're going to come up is we want to know how much time per week do you spend on websites or on your website? And I'm going to answer my question with around 30%. Oh, I can't answer it. Oh, I guess I can't. I'm going to put that away. So I'm just going to continue with that. And if we do, Adam, get any answers, let me know and we'll discuss that. But basically, I asked that question because of what I said a minute ago. Government websites are becoming hot. You're going to need to start working on them more to make sure that people are satisfied when they get there. And what we're seeing is around, yeah, okay, 10%. We have, oh, geez, 20%, around 50%. Oh, my goodness. Your day must go by so fast. Those folks are around 50%. Goodness, I'm going to close this down and say, I try to focus on what I was going to say here. Okay. Why government websites are hard. All right. It's ease of obtaining information. Like that thing, like the slide before just said, people have figured out you can just get the information. You have to talk to people. And I gotta be honest, if you can see me, I'm raising my hand saying, that is me. I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to get information or get my process done that I have to. I love when I get my DMV little postcard in the mail. It says go online. It takes me like 25 seconds, it feels like, and my car is registered. And that leads to number two, most services can be done online. And that's a great thing. So we're all now starting to realize that, and we're saying, hey, I can do this online, or I can go find that out online. Googling is hot. We all know how to Google. We all know how to say, hey, Siri, what's going on? And more folks, including my father, who's 74, is now saying, Siri, tell me this. And so people are going to the web to get the information, hence why our websites are getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And so I'm about in my mid 40s, and the term e-government has always been around, but in our government websites, we're not able to really maintain those that idea of e-government where you can do everything on that website. And now, for the most part, we are really able to do a lot in our websites, and e-government is a really efficient way of going about business, and everyone's starting to see that. And the last, there are analytics to determine success of government missions, and that right there to me is the biggest change in the last several years on how we are able to start looking at our website and saying, hey, this is a place where we can figure out how to help our consumers and to find out if we are helping our consumers with little budgets to do as well. So with that said, you can see my dragon is showing you how hot the website is. Hot websites have created opportunities for government. As I said, we've created access, but more importantly, you can see here in the middle, brand. So every time someone comes to our website now, what we need to realize is it's not that they're coming to our website saying, oh, look, the division of real estate kicks butt and I believe in them and I'm going to go tell my friends about it. It's that the brand of government has an opportunity every time someone comes to the website to be successful. And if someone comes to your website and is able to obtain information or at least find how to get it or finish a process or do a process, their confidence in government will go up. The reality is most of us in government, we don't necessarily need them to know who we are. We're not Nike, we're not Amazon. What we need them to know is that they have confidence in us and they're willing to go to our products and use them. And then obviously value. So once we start using our websites, we can start seeing what the value is, and particularly within communications and outreach. When we place our content on our websites, we are able to see who's looking at it, how long they're looking at it, and that gives us a really great understanding and a ability to show people that our content is being viewed on demand. So we're going to slide now into the next section of the um, presentation, and it's going to be Drupal, Google working together at the Division of Real Estate. So I am the Division of Real Estate's web admin person. And about a year and a half ago, I was lucky enough to work for Dora and be their project person when it came to implementing Drupal 8 amongst all the different divisions in Dora. And so by doing that, I was really lucky to really get my hands deep into the mud and learn how you can use this product. And it really helped us at the Division of Real Estate, but it has taken about a year for us to start seeing some results of that. So first, what I want to say is that we look at it as government a la website. So we try to think, how can we provide our government, quote unquote, our our part of government via website as much as possible because of the value. And what we show you on this slide is there's pictures of people, and these people all work within the division. They have nothing to do with websites, but they have everything to do with the tools that people can use on the website. So, for example, we have Linda. Linda is a person who is working on back-end spreadsheets so that when people go on the website, they have live, instant, searchable databases. We also have Mary Lou, who is a subject matter expert, who's going to make sure that we're providing content that is accurate. And then we have the call staff that's going to help us understand and help us gather data to make sure that how can we actually take less calls for them. And so all working together, we create page design, we create forms, we use Google Workspace to create enhancements, and we'll show you this. We create chatbots to help the consumer, and we develop analytics. And so Government LL website is actually Government LL all of us, and that's what we're trying to get across on this screen or slide. All right. So first, we're going to talk page design. And we'll start getting into some examples here too. I can start showing you, like share with tell. So page design, the first thing I want to talk about with page design is, and again, this is a layman's term perspective. And with that disclaimer, we are learning this through the World Wide Web. We are not professionals in this. We are professional communication government people. But designing web pages for personas. So we have learned that our web pages need to be built for the person who's going to be looking for certain information or to want to do certain actions. And by doing that, we create value in the page. And as this quote right here says, a persona is a fictitious, specific, and concrete representation of a target user. Now, because we have limited funds and we have limited resources, we have to use our pulse on the industry and pulse on our consumers to try to understand our personas. So rest assured, if you don't have the funding to actually go out there and to do market research, you can more likely than not, through internal subject matter expert folks, be able to figure out who your personas are or who the folks are you are trying to reach. And with that said, personas and persona page build examples. So I'm just going to go through a couple quick examples. The first one I want to show you is the broker application instruction guide, and I'm going to bring it right over here. Okay, so this page right here we built because it was actually a document. I'll show you the document in a second. And so when you would go to our website, you would get this grid that was built on a Word doc. And it was built by someone who is not someone working or writing for a website, but someone who was trying to do 20 other things. And so it was built based on when they had the time of day. You could see it was just like a piecemeal product. So it wasn't very effective, and it wasn't definitely written for the actual user. This product right here is written towards the persona, which is someone who's going to apply for a application. It gives you the information you need. It allows you to create actions that you need to create as well. It has no other information other than that, and it's there for them. With that said, I'm going to show you now what they had before. So real quick, as you can see here, we get them first time applicants. We tell them about their insurance requirements, and we have our drop downs just to kind of create a little bit of a concreteness of this page and let them look at the parts that they need to look at. That's what our accordions are for. But this is written for the licensee or soon to be licensee. What we had before was, as I said, was a grid on a Word doc. And I'm going to bring it over here in a second. So this is what you would actually get from us, because before D8, we had challenges with our website. And so we said, hey, let's not try to build on the website. Let's just try to build a document, let people go to it. And so we thought how smooth we were and how smart we were. And in some ways we were, but not really, as you can see. And so we build these documents that are hard to read, that aren't really well designed, that don't create brand confidence at all. And there's a lot of other things that they don't do that a web page does do, and we'll go into that in a second. So this is a great example of building to the persona. So obviously, this was not necessarily written for a first-time licensee. This is written for the person who's like working inside the industry. And so that just didn't really do much for us. So I'm going to take this away and we can get rid of this and we can see again, this is what it has become from that document. We cleaned it up, people, and we know it's successful based on several analytics that we'll go over in a second for you. So that's one example of how page design through persona is very important. So we have another page we just built. We're really excited about it. And I know that sounds weird, but we are. Um, is buying a home in an HOA. So part of our job as a consumer protection agency is consumer protection, and that's our main mission. And we have an HOA office at the Division of Real Estate, and its job is literally to provide you information and provide you resources so that you can be better prepared moving into an HOA. Over 60% of all people in Colorado live in an HOA. That's the 5th highest ratio of people living in versus out of in the nation. It's a pretty big thing for a lot of people. And as you might realize is that some people might not know what an HOA is about when they're going to buy a house for the first time. And so what we have done is we created a page called Buying a Home in an HOA. This page is designed for the persona of the person who wants to do due diligence, for the person who's actually saying, hey, I need to know what this really means, or someone who's helping someone. Like, oh, so when I move to an HOA, maybe I should look at these things. So this page absolutely dedicated to one type of person that gives them information and helps them. And if you go inside our drop downs, it tells them where to contact people if they have questions. It gives them web pages and video links to go to learn more about this stuff. And so our goal is to drive people to this page who have this desire. Our goal is not to talk to all Coloradans because not all Coloradans are going to move in an HOA. Heck, a lot of people who are going to move into HOA know what's going to happen when they move into HOA. But if consumer protection is there for those who are reaching out for it, we can use a web page to provide that on-demand information. And if we can create a page that's dedicated to them and has the right keywords, we're going to be able to catch them even faster because that persona, that person searching for it, will be able to find them. And we'll talk about that more here in a second. So I'm going to shut this page down as well. Boom. All right, so I guess I'll get this page out of the way too. We'll go right back into here. All right, this is do you use Drupal 8 integrated web forms? That's what we're gonna go over next, okay? I'm gonna say yes, I do. I'm gonna get rid of that. All right, so web forms have become such a huge success for us as far as helping us identify if a page is working or help us identify potentially if a page is working, but also helping us do two other things, creating a feedback loop and also brand equity. So we have a split here and I can see that split. It's basically 47-53, 47 yes, no is 53. I want to shut that down. And that basically tells me that two things. One, you haven't been exposed to it too much and you're probably using a different product, perhaps Google Forms. And that's totally okay. Or you might not have the need, or you might not realize the need. Drupal 8 provides an incredible web form product. It's very, very advanced, and they have a lot of great examples in there. And of course, the folks over at NCI are wonderful to work with if you need help getting started. And of course, the communities, there are communities out there that can help you as well. However, web forms are great because what they're doing is they're providing an opportunity for the person who, as we just learned, 90% of Americans are pretty cool with heading out and trying new things online now. So if you're going to get information online and you can't find it because the content isn't there, or maybe you didn't get to the right page, or who knows, a web form can help close that communication loop and save that person from saying, crap, I have to call now a government telephone number and my afternoon is gone, right? Like that's what we don't want them to have to do because they went to the website to begin with. So that web form can be something that can be really powerful for that person. And I'll go into it here for you in a second. And so for those who are using it, you can get really detailed with those web forms too, right? So I'll show you an example of our HOA form, how we're trying to find ways to get you information before you even get back to us. But yeah, gaining insights and closing communication loops. That's what it's all about to me with web forms. And I got this quote, I can't remember where I got it from. It said, customer feedback is essential to guide and inform your decision-making and influence innovation and changes to your product or service. And the reason why I like that form, why I like that is for one main reason. You have to help your leadership see what you see, and you can talk to your blue in the face, but data is what you need to provide them. And that is a real challenge when it comes to changing or evolutionizing how we go about seeing success, or how we go about doing what we think is right for that consumer, and even what we think about. And so I'm going to show you how it informs. We're using it in a very soft way. So forms inform you and the public, as we talked about. They close those loops. They provide quantitative and quantitative data that we use to help make sure we're meeting the persona's needs, to define page success, but also define SPI success, or critical mission success of our organization, for a general term. And then again, brand equity. The idea of that closed loop provides that person the ability to say, I didn't have to call. I was able to get my information, even though I didn't get the information. And that is a success for us in government that is essential when it comes to, if the division of real estate is awesome, that's great. But if every other part of state government is not, we'll drown as well. So we all need to be. We want the brand of government to be successful. We want the brand of, every time you go to a government website, you can get information, and it's almost like it's designed for you. So here, let's take a look at some forms. So I'm going to first one I'm going to look at is called the "Was this content helpful" form. Now, this particular form, I'm just going to bring it up on the screen right here. It's pretty simple. Was this content helpful? Yes, no. Additional feedback. We tell them not to include personal information because you never know. Would you like us to contact you? Give us your email. Tell us you're not a robot. Submit. Where do you find this form? Well, you find it on every page of our website that is a content page. So for example, if we go to the division's HOA office and we go to buying a home in an HOA like we were just at, I wish I didn't shut that down. Right here, was this content helpful? And the exact same form is fit in right into a tiny roll, or in a card. It's a block that's set inside a card in an accordion room. That's how we keep it small. And this is used pretty extensively. Um, it's wonderful when you get feedback. It's not always all good. And sometimes people say, hey, why is it like this? And then they say they don't want you to contact them back. You're like, I want to contact you back. But within that data, you hear the qualitative data, and you're like, wait, are we not speaking about this the right way on our webpage? So this is this form right here, like I said, is on every page of our website that is a content page. We don't put it on landing pages because we're really just directing you places on those landing pages. We would love, and if anyone at NCI is listening in or gets this, the thing that we need is this to be on article pages. We can't implant this on an article page. Why this is so important to put on the pages, because of what I'll show you next. Oops, that's not the right thing, sorry. So when we implant this on a page, we have, again, the product is really a really nice product, the Webform product. And we have a tag in it so that we can see what page you were on. So we receive an email, it goes off to certain people after that email comes in and says, hey, I have a question, and we get it off to the right person to help answer the question. But we also know what page it's coming in on, so we know what page they're on. So even if they're just like, yeah, this content was helpful, right? If they just say that, we know what page, and we can say, hey, that helps build the confidence in us thinking if one piece of the puzzle is determining if this content is viable to the consumers that we're trying to create it for. What you're looking at here is a simple data studio, and we'll go over those in a second. And this data studio takes the last year to date, our web form data analysis. And so it's been used 929 times, our form. It's not a gigantic selection, right? But it's something. And what it can tell us is a lot of things. So again, right here, we have additional information requests 219 times. So we were able to 219 times out of these 1,000 times, or roughly, say, hey, someone said, hey, can you get back to us? I just don't know what, I'm on your page. I'm not finding the information I need. And they get back to you 100% within 10 hours to 12 hours. We say 24, but obviously our goal is less than that. Um, Website users helped 547 times. So over half the time that people use our web form saying, was this content helpful? They're saying yes. Is that a good or bad? We don't know. And that's the thing about analytics, right? It's just one piece of a puzzle that we need to figure out. I want to tell you it's a great thing, but I don't know for sure. This is our first year to really start driving this and start looking at this data. But what we do know, for example, is if we take the web page and we go to broker, we're going to go to the broker relationship disclosure. So this page is pretty important to me right now. I'm going to take a look at it. We know that 31 times people over the last year said, hey, they wanted to say, was this content helpful or not? 30 times they said yes. That right there is telling me that for the persona, which is a licensee, just so you know, it's this is built for a broker and help them to understand, gives them guidance. It's like what we call a guidance page. And so we know this page 30 out of 31 times they were like, yep, this is what I needed. And boy, that's a great feeling because that helps us understand that we've identified a potential need of our consumer. We built a product that helps them understand what they need to figure out, which ultimately solves what we call consumer protection. Because if they're doing their job right, that means that the consumer is getting what the state considers, a good product. And so that's huge. And so we're able to see some things, and this is just one example. How was this content helpful? How we look at this information. We also have additional feedback component to it, as I said. And when you look at, you can use that aspect to say, when someone submits a form, hey, this didn't provide me information on how to do X. I take that, I move it to my subject matter expert, and I say, are they correct in what they're saying? Is the web page not efficient? And we have a simple discussion. Sometimes it's like, yeah, we missed that. And sometimes it's like, no, what they're really thinking is this. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then we kind of learn about that. And so it's sometimes a one-off solution thing, and sometimes it's a consumer feedback loop success. But for the most part, the web was this content helpful form helps us continue to build that brand equity, which is really, really important. And like I said, here it is right here in its website format. And then we have another form, which is HOA. It's what we call the HOA form. Now, this one is really interesting. As I was telling you earlier, we use these forms to help us understand evolution. And obviously, talking to me, you obviously can tell that I like doing things digitally. If I don't ever have to talk to a consumer related person on a telephone ever again in my life, I'd be okay with it. I would. But I'll tell you what you don't want to do is you don't want to try to force that. And this form has a question on it that helps us understand and helps me with my leadership help them understand what the consumer really wants. I believe the consumer wants the information on the internet, and I can show that. But when I do that, there's hesitation from my leadership about the concept of phones and making sure people are allowed to call us and talk to us. And I think that's really valid. And so we literally have that question: how do you prefer to be contacted? By phone and by email. That's set up purposely to help us start understanding, right? And I'll show you the results of it and what that's showing us. We also have what would you like to talk to us about? And we have several predetermined categories. And if you select any of those, you're going to get a predetermined receipt email that's going to have information dedicated to just that subject. So that even before we get back to you, whether by telephone or whether by email, you will already be set on your way if it's one of those things. If it's an other, hey, we'll take a look at it. This helps us a lot, this form, but at the same token, this form has been used a lot. It's somewhat new, and I'm going to show you what we've learned from it. So as you can see, folks, one thing that we said earlier is that as you move forward and work inside your website and really try to understand your consumers, you could do it all day long. It's kind of fun, right? But it starts consuming your time And then you got to ask yourself, where am I going to spend that time, right? So I totally understand that. So here in this form, I want to show you a couple of things. So people, 86% of the time, it's only been used 90 times, this form, since we built it, which is April 20th was when we first started using it. And by phone, 13%. So pretty much what we're able to show our hesitant leadership, hey, look, we get that we want to make sure that the phone is available, and we definitely want to make sure that's on everything we provide people for how to contact us. However, when it comes to what you're spending your money on and how you're looking at your future and how you're looking at what your consumer wants, we need to make sure that our staff and that the ways we go about doing things is the way that the consumer wants it. And when you collect that quantitative data like we have here, it helps your leadership understand that. And your leadership has to make some pretty weird decisions, and they got to deal with a bunch of different red tape. We're all in government. It's crazy, right? It's intense. So this dashboard right here, that's the one this is the thing I want. And then what it does for us here too is again, we just have a great breakdown. You can see here we have this big empty area. And that's because we stopped using the form. Why, I'm not sure, but as an organization, we said we didn't want to use it for a while. Before we were using it, it was really doing really well. We're getting a bunch of different types of questions coming in, as you can see. And then you can see in September, we started using it. That's when we created our chatbot, which we'll go into a second. And again, what this dashboard is showing me, I'm able to show my leadership is, look, there's value in this form and people are using it. And we took it off the website, but when we had it on, it was pretty popular. And we have it in our chatbot and it's being used. So again, we're creating data. We're looking at data points. We're starting to see how our consumers are using our products. Doesn't mean we know the answers though. And that's something we just always want to make sure we understand, that there's no arrogance or hubris here. There's absolute like, oh, okay, I know this, and maybe I know something else. And that's something we always want to make sure we understand. So web forms kick butt, really, really do. Highly recommend them. And like I said, the folks over at NCI are incredible, and they can help you just like other communities can as well. So we'll shut down the web forms and we'll move to the next slide. So okay, we probably have a question coming up here soon, so I'm not sure. I'm going to say, oh yeah, have you developed a data studio dashboard before? Yes, no, yes, but just a bit. Meaning you just kind of created like a stick figure, or what are you talking about? I'll give you a second. What we're going to talk about in this slide is enhancing your website with Google products. So within our website, D8 is a great product. However, it's not a Cadillac. Meaning it doesn't have every bell and whistle. And using Google, we've been able to add some bells and some whistles. Oh, okay, we got some results here. Have you developed that? Yes, 0, no, 60, yes, 20, awesome. What are you talking about? 20% of you, okay. All right, so if you work with Google Workspace, you can create dashboards, and dashboards are built in Data Studio. Data Studio is a application by Google that you take data, and that data is your data source, and you create visual representation of that data, and you can search that visual representation. So it becomes a very useful tool. And we'll go into that here in a second. So connection of Drupal with Google. There are many ways every day you can be using Google to enhance your website or drive people to your website, and to drive people to your website. And we're not going to talk about them all today. There's so many things I'm not putting on this list that are for a different day. But Data Studio, we'll go into how we use that at the Division of Real Estate in a second. Chatbots, we'll talk about that. Google Business Page, Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and Google Workspace products. So real quick, I just want to talk about Google Business Page first. I know it's not first in my list, but for all of you out there, I'm just going to put this plug in. I got a friend, his name's Brandon. He works up in Eagle County, and he's been talking to me about Google, My Business Page. And it's this thing over here. It's the thing when you search something, it's like I call it the white page or the yellow page of that product, right? So if I put in the Department of Regulatory Agencies, boom, 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 that's my department. It's right here. Look, it's really nice. It breaks things down. So, oh, sorry, it's right here. It gives us website, hey, directions, call it. You got some Google reviews. We don't want to look at those. Where we're located. We got a Q&A. Really important stuff so that when someone's searching for information, we don't need them to go to our homepage and then to trickle it down to that page they're looking for. We just want to get them there super fast, just like you, right? I mean, I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. But if you look at ours, we're a school in Denver, Colorado. The Division of Real Estate is a school in the so this is not acceptable. So my Google business page is underdeveloped and I got to get that enhancement so that I can get people to my site. So this is like a byproduct of Google or a product of Google that will get you to that website section, the parts of your website that people are going to really fast. It's a brilliant product. I recommend everyone just to search Google business page, my Google business page, and you'll see how to start going about the process. For us folks in the state, it's a little bit more red tape. So let's get that off. All right, so Data Studio. So we use Data Studio. I just showed you a Data Studio, which what I would call a backend Data Studio. And it's this right here. And Data Studio is, we create, this is a dashboard we've created here. So we can look at information that's coming from a spreadsheet in our Google workspace. It's live, it's real, it updates every 15 seconds, I believe, or 15 minutes. So you can change that all day long as well. It's searchable, right? Okay, so it's really nice. But we use it we use it this way for internal product, but for external product, we use it to help solutionize a problem we have with our web builder. So our web builder, D8, is a beautiful product. I can't stress that enough. I love working with it. It's great for us or whoever we are, meaning the Division of Real Estate. But it doesn't provide me a searchable table unless I'm super smart in working in Drupal. And I'm not Lena Gerber, and she's not around anymore. That's really horrible. But even if she was, I couldn't expect her to build for me what she built for herself. So what you see here is a searchable database right here. It's called Approved Continuing Education Course List. This is a data studio that you're looking at right here. You can see it right down here, Google Data Studio. All we've done is embed the product into the web page. And so now you can search by course, in-person class, course title, credit, on demand, online. All the information is right there. If we needed to hyperlink you to somewhere, we could do that as well. We just don't do that in this particular table. So what we've done is instead of placing a spreadsheet on the website, which we could do that as well, because this is all just a spreadsheet. Instead, though, we want to provide the person with a better product than that. And so that's what we've done. And Data Studio gives us that ability to connect, a really great product, which is our site builder, with buttons and everything we need, rows and cards, but sometimes there's just a few things that's missing, and this is one of those examples. And so we have this ability to live inside here. It's really satisfactory. And again, if you go back to our slide of folks that work for the division, these folks over here, one of them is inputting the information into that page, onto that, that spreadsheet that's then making that thing updated. So if you want information from us, our goal is to always have the most updated information on our website. Why would it be different? And how can we make how can we make it that much better for you? If you come from the restaurant industry, what I describe this as is crumbing. So we're crumbing your table. We're trying to find a way to enhance the product without actually spending any money at all, because we have all this product internally. So I gotta go back to where I was, sorry. Boom, boom, boom. Past that. Okay, so that's Data Studio. Okay, so Data Studio is, like I said, I gotta find that one again. It's a really great product. And like I said, it's right on the page. We embed it. And we have about, I think we have 6 or 7 at the Division of Real Estate. We also button it like here. So we put it in a button so that if you're someone who needs an e-reader, the e-reader will find this, open it up, and then we'll be able to read it in a much better way. Because inside, as it embedded into the product, into the web page, the e-reader might have a little challenge. So just keep that in mind. But that's just that simple. That's how we use that. And of course, just like every other page, we have, was this content helpful, right? We always want to make sure that's there. So that's how we use Data Studios. Now I want to talk about chatbots. you have the ability to do chatbots in our web builder, but I don't think it's turned on. I've never used it. Oh, hi. Do you use chatbots on your website? Yes or no? I'm going to put yes. Oh, I can submit. Okay, I didn't know I could. All right. There's a couple of us. So chatbots are super new, but chatbots, again, think about yourself. I was on vacation this summer. I needed more data from my phone because my wife and I were just using all the data up, right? I go to a Verizon store. There's 2 people inside the store. There's 1 guy working. I can't wait. I go outside, I go in their chatbot, I add data. It took less than 2 minutes. Chatbots are the future. We're going to be working within them. There's no doubt about it. When you go and you learn and you start seeing how we can use chatbots to answer questions, to process products, it is the future. And there's probably right now a lot of times where you don't even realize you're talking to a chatbot when you're doing things. Um, but it's also like anything else. You build a chatbot, you're going to be managing that thing. You're going to help it grow, and it has to have value, or it's just a little pet project. Um, so D8 for us, see, we don't have it. We can't use the chatbot feature, but with Google, we can. We can go into Google and we can create a chatbot. And so again, with my leadership saying, "Hey, try it out. Um, you know, test it out, see what's going on." We did, and we created our chatbot. So right here on every page of our HOA office, um, we have a chatbot. It's not located on all our website. It's located just on our HOA section. And the reason for that is dedicated just for HOA. And we've done that for 2 reasons. One, it is a lot of work at first to build a chatbot. And we are trying to learn. So we figured let's keep it isolated to a certain area. As well, it is the area of our website where we know the #1 reason you're coming to it is for information and resources. It is not to do create a license, manage your license, or anything of that nature. It is literally to get information. And so we have a lot of content already built, and we had it cleaned already. And so we said, hey, let's see what we can do. And so we created a chatbot, and it's pretty cool. You can do a lot of fun things with this. This is what I would call a baseline chatbot. So this is done in Google Essentials, and they have two different types of chatbot concepts. There's this one, which is straight up like you plug in information, and it kind of learns a little bit, and then it answers those questions, but it's a little primitive. Whereas the second layer of chatbots that you can do, which I believe is called CX Flow, that is where you can, like I was saying a minute ago, you can literally process things. Someone could say, I want to set up an appointment and get that done within 10 seconds. It's incredible, but we're not there. But to get there, as I said a minute ago, we really want to understand that we know what people are using. So we create the chatbot, and you can ask the question, who is Corey? And it's going to say, he doesn't, sorry, we didn't get that. And we can connect you with the HOA officer, and we can get you to the website. Or we could ask it a question like, can an HOA, I hope this works, can an HOA tow my car? This one I'm having a hard time with. Learn the rules surrounding towing cars in the HOA. It worked. So we're using this, and what happens is it's not really used a lot. It's probably used on average a day 3 times. It's successful once every like 3 times as well, because we're still learning how to use it. However, as I was showing you in a minute ago, where it gets real value is if you don't get the answer or not finding what you need, want to talk to someone, that's when we open, that's this form. And this is when people go into the chatbot and they're like, I'm looking for something, I still couldn't find it. We still give them a way to then say, hey, come back to us. We'll get that information to you. So every time you've seen all these lines over here are the form being used just inside the chatbot, which then allows me to say to my leadership, forms are things that people like. Like you can see like people will reach out to us, which will build brand equity because then we'll get back with them. They'll say, whoa, someone from government responded to me pretty quickly and they have an answer to my question. That's awesome. So the chatbot is a great thing. I highly recommend if you ever want to talk chatbot anyone, please send me an email. It's like anything else. It does take a little bit of an initial elbow grease, but boy, once you get cooking on it, it helps you understand that you can live inside of machine learning and AI just fine. And you don't need a computer science degree to do it. You can be an admin of several different things like I am. You just have to put a little time into it. So that's our chatbot. And it's super cool. And I'm really proud of it, even though it's not used a lot. However, what it has done is it's shown us that if we can create this chatbot at a micro level, there might be other places in our website where we want to put a micro level chatbot where we know there are specific questions that are constantly being asked. And if someone can grab that because they're on the website and that solves them from contacting us, we've made their day. Okay, Google Search Console. This thing's super cool. So now we're going to start leaning towards how does you make your web page better. So what we do is, it's not showing it here. Oh, give me 1 second. So Google Search Console is a report that you're going to get. You can get, which helps you understand. I'm going to go to my October report. Okay, where is that? Right there. And I'll just do a real quick review of it. What the Search Console report's helping you understand is how people are getting to, how they're using search, how they're using Google to find your product, and it helps you get insights into what people are searching for online potentially. There are some challenges with it for us in government because we are unique. Because in government we're scoped for the most part. Now, community is a little bit different if you're here from a community, but if you're coming to this through a department or even more specific, a division, the search queries for you are going to be, the top ones are going to be probably the same every month, right? Because you have bread and butter, and really what you need to do is dig below the bread and butter to find where you're finding insights. We're lucky here on top growing pages to actually see some insight. Continue education for brokers and the website as top growing pages doesn't shark us one bit. It's this one right here, Kiowa and the other state, local, and federal governments, 298 increase in searches that were connected through a search to that page. And that tells us a lot. That tells us that people are searching for that information and they're going to our page for it, which tells us that it was good that we built that page, right? So Search Console gives us some understanding, understands like that. It shows us our top performing pages, and it shows us how people are looking to find us right here with their queries. As I said, you really want to get in and look at your big ones, your below your big ones, your bread and butters, because your bread and butters are always going to be very much the same ones. But this will help you. And again, one of the things I said to you earlier, you got to give this time. You got to play around with this stuff. You're going to see I say that again over and over again. That's how you're going to learn it. That's how you're going to say, instead of saying, hey, yeah, I use Google Analytics like because I got an account, to like, yeah, I actually talk to people about things based on Google Analytics. And that's the leap that I think that if you can do, you're going to be feeling really good. And which leads us into analytics. All right, so we got a question coming up. Do we have a question about analytics? Maybe not. I don't know. Adam, if we don't have a question on analytics, can we ask the question, how many people here use Google Analytics to make decisions?
Sure. Yeah. If you would just like to respond in the chat, if anyone does.
That's the
use
first
analytics.
voice I've heard in this, and I felt like I like on a boat by myself this whole time.
You've been the captain of the boat. We've been
We got chat. We got chat.
All right, we're getting some thumbs up
All right,
here.
Jamie,
Waves.
thumb up.
Yeah.
We got an applause from Kristen. Nice. Megan, yes. Awesome. This is cool. Yes, I do, from Jim. Jamie. Not is that Jamie from Johnstown? I'll say Jamie Barker. Oh, she says, yes, that is me. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Jamie. Hope you're doing well up there. Yeah, that's why I got confused because it was the last name just changed. Oh my God, that's so great that last name changed if it was for good reasons. Okay, so all right, so a lot of us are use analytics. So let's talk about analytics. Analytics is this really big term, I think, that is being thrown around out there. A lot of people say, yeah, we use analytics or we have analytics. And I think a lot of people think, particular people in leadership think it's like this report that's supposed to tell you how to solve world hunger. And it's like opposite of that. Um, to me, what analytics does, it gives us markers that we can identify, and then we can say, maybe this is making sense to us. It also helps us identify unique things. And I'm going to show you some of that right now. So when you're in analytics, we're not here to do an analytics course. We're just going to go over how I use analytics pretty quickly. This is your homepage. It's pretty fun to come here again, just look at all day long. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into behavior, and I'm going to go to site content, and then I'm going to go to all page drill down. And while I do that, I'm going to also pull up one more analytics sheet that I have over here. Bear with me, everyone. Division of real estate. Okay, one more. Division of real estate, analytics, site content. Oh, I just gotta grab it. I apologize. Here it is, advisors. So one of the things we did at the Division of Real Estate is once we went to D8, we started seeing the value of it and all that. It was great. We had these article pages we can build, and we're like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I was like, we got to get everything on a page, because now we started understanding the more we put on the page, the more that we put on pages, the more people can find. The more people can find information at any time they need it, the more the consumer is protected. The way we as government produce information is we put it out there in a listserv and we send it as an email blast. And we might have archives of those email blasts, but we weren't putting this information out there on web pages. And so if you weren't looking for the information the day we did it, good luck, or you're going to find it from someone else. And the question is, how valuable is that? It's really not valuable. So now we use article pages, and let me show you what we did. So if I look at, I'm going to take a look from September 1st through November 16th. I'm just going to look at my article pages. So I've done a content drill down, and I'm drilled down to division notifications. It's right up here. Okay. And you can see that since September 1st, 16,000 page views have been done on articles. Over a year ago, we didn't have article pages, or a year and a half ago, which means that's 15,000 times people came to our website. Our brand was recognized. Our content was considered valuable, and maybe they went somewhere else on the website. But more importantly, now we can see, well, what are the things that we're talking to the public about that's important to them, right? Like, can we see things? And this is something I want to show you. Like, here's something that I want you to show you, like how analytics we're using it. So this number 3 is, it's called HOA regulation flags and signs. So this is an article that was written. It's like one of the first articles that we put on the website back in like August of 2020, the good old days. Remember them, guys? And this one right here, what you see is what's going on. Like all of a sudden you start seeing in November or October, it's being used. And this is a long, graph, so it looks really low, but 6, 4, 0, 2, 4. It's every day. It's kind of like in October, it's got some pushes. We don't know why, but it starts ramping up in October. And I assume everyone knows why people are looking at this advisory, because it was right before an election. So even though we didn't put this piece of content out before the election, right? We built it a year plus ago. We put it online as an article. Now, the way we did things in the past was we would have put this like in our newsletter. We would have put this, like I said, to the HOA listserv as something we call an HOA Today. And we would say, look at the content we produce. And in fact, our SBIs would say, you have to produce X amount of outreach content, blah, blah, blah. But now what we can say is this. We can say, if we're smart, we're going to promote during a certain time of year this article. Because obviously there's a certain time of year people are going to read that article. It's not June. Or it might be 1 or 2 people in June if there's elections. but it's really going to be during that time when people ramp up to elections. So why not promote that? Why not use that? And why not then say, what else outreach from our HOA office should be highlighted during that month or that time frame? So this is how we're using analytics, just in one random way, right? What we also see is that people are on this page for 7 minutes. Whoa, that's good. That means to us, that's good. That means that people are consuming that content. I can tell my boss's boss that the content we produced is being used during the time of year that people really need it. And if I actually has, if this wasn't an advisory or article, and it was an actual page, I could have my was this content helpful on there, but I can't because it's an article. So NCI, please. So this is one real random way we use analytics to start seeing things and making decisions. But on our website though, we do it too. So like, so again, here on our website, we start seeing things, we get some real common stuff, but here's something we want to talk about. It's Division of Real Estate License Renewal Notification. So if we're looking just randomly, I'm gonna go to the 1st of November. License renewal all at once at the Division of Real Estate, November, December, all done. Rest of the year, no one renews. You only renew during that renewal period. Working with leadership, identifying that on our calendar, I create a page called License Renewal Notification. We banner it everywhere. It's a persona built page, right? Dedicated to the person who's the 100,000 or so people who are going to be like, oh God, I got to renew, right? And of that 100,000 people, some of them are like me, like they use their emails like a tickler list, and then they search like the website to go get the information. Some actually go in the email where it is. It's a lot easier that way, But what we know, there are people like me. So now what we can tell you is basically since the beginning of this page, which we haven't promoted, we don't do anything about it, we just blast it all over our website. It is the 5th biggest page of our website, which is really great considering contracts and forms at 3,638 views is a top state of Colorado webpage. So we know that the page we built, people are using it, and hopefully, we haven't been able to prove this yet. We got to see the numbers of phone calls that potentially this page will have eliminated calls to our call center, which would reduce cost overall for the division and provide brand equity because the person goes to the website, sees the content, boom, boom, boom. Because it's 10:58, I'm going to stop talking analytics, Adam, because I feel like I'm going over my time frame. And this is my point. We can continue to do this all day long because it's so cool. However, and then Google Workspace, guys, that's your backbone of everything. So I built everything inside Google Workspace, and it makes it so that all this can be done really efficiently. Let's get through this real quick. Resources, best practices. Okay. Create a digital strategy, guys. You probably already kind of doing it. Start doing it. Create a digital strategy. It doesn't have to be complex. That's one of the great things about this is that it can be very novice. It can be very stick figure. It's all about growing. And that's something I wanted you guys to see that we've been doing. A little help from your friends. I'll go over this a little bit more in detail in like 2 seconds, but there are communities out there. There are websites out there that will show you how to do these things and develop things like digital strategy. Follow a method. I'll show you where I figured my method out for just doing persona paging. Play with analytics. That's what I was just showing you. I would never be able to get into like actually how we use analytics on a daily or a monthly basis. Just showing how you can really analytics starts showing how you can figure out what people are talking about, and then give it time and provide time. And so I've been saying throughout this whole thing, you got to find time. Every Thursday, I sit down with the deputy director of the Division of Real Estate. We spend an hour and we just shoot the crap about analytics and the website. And it helps us align and helps us understand what we're starting to learn, because we're learning a lot. And it is going to evolutionize how we do things. So I'm going to stop. I don't need to go through that slide for you if you have questions. But before we go into questions, I just want to show. Okay, so for you folks out there, okay, well, hold on a second. Oh, that's the wrong document. I'm sorry. Okay, communities. Okay, there's a community called Public Sector Connect. I highly recommend getting to be part of that. It's a Google product. If you're part of government, you can be part of this. This is where I learned how to do chatbots. This group is really fun. You can connect, you can learn what other people have done. There's lots of different, they have coffee hours, so you can check in on and see how people are using the workspace to enhance their government products. And it's a really great product for people who are outside the state, because the state that's just one example of a community, right? The state of Colorado, if you're part of the state of Colorado, I hope you're part of the two current groups, Mason's community of Google Guides. Highly recommend going to look at that. There's always great information in there. And then there's also the digital strategy community of practice. Highly recommend this. This is website heavy, I would say. And people like Lori Kubitz are amazing. These are the type of people who I've been learning from myself. And I come here myself a lot and ask questions, and it's amazing the answers and solutions you get. Speaking of Lori, there's also at the state of Colorado, which anyone can grab. This is a public page, user experience playbook. This is how I build my website, is based off of this. I can't do it all. I don't have the resources to do it all. Nothing's perfect. There's a whole other side to this conversation, I can tell you, which is the warts that we see now because of what we're doing and how I want to fix them, but at the same token. But at the end of the day, if you just came to this webpage and kind of just learned it a little bit, this would start you in a really good direction of building a better website for your constituents or whoever those personas are. And that's really all I got for you folks.
That's great. Thank you so much, Corey. This was really excellent. That was a lot of great info. It is 11 o'clock. Does anyone have any questions for Corey? If you want to just drop those in the chat or the Q&A. I haven't seen any come in yet, and I know that that was a lot of good info.
Yeah, I'll throw in the chat too. Wait, how do I go to chat? Is this the chat? Open. Wait, that's Q&A. Where's chat? I'm a Google guy. Where's the chat?
Chat should be just to the left of share screen if you're looking at that bottom bar.
I got Q&A right. Q&A, answer, dismiss, open. No, I don't know. Anyways, I was gonna put my why can't I find? I'm looking for something. Mine comes up. Can you see what I got? It says open, answer, dismiss. No open questions. That's my Q&A. Oh, there's my chat.
There you go.
Thanks.
Okay.
Feel free to email me, guys. It's really simple. Email corey.nicholson@state.co.us and whatnot.
And yeah, we've got one quick question from Kevin here. He says Firehouse. I'm guessing you know that one. Maybe links to the resources at the end. If you can provide those, I can certainly drop those on the YouTube description once I go ahead and get this uploaded.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll get all those in there for you folks for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that we can share later today. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. It looks like we've finished up. Corey, that was excellent. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out, give us a call. We will have this on SIPA's YouTube channel shortly. You can expect an email for that. And there is a short little survey that will pop up here at the end of this webinar. If you want to go ahead and fill that out, that'll help us for future topics and just, keeping these relevant to you. So again, thank you, Corey, and we'll catch you all at our next webinar Wednesday. Have a great day, everyone.